So here it is, the all-new 2020 Audi Q7, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's take a look and see why this new redesign is so special. Hey guys, Ryan McCrum here at Zimbrick Audi of Madison. Here in our new location, right across the street from where we used to be. I encourage you to come take a look. It is gorgeous. Today, we're gonna look at this new 2020 Audi Q7. Now, right off the bat, we're gonna notice with this redesign, the front grille and headlights of this car. Much more of an aggressive look. The lights have more of this automation that we see in the Q8, as well as those vertical grille lines to help have more of a continuity across the Q7, Q8. And you'll also notice this in the revamped Q3 that came out just a few months ago. Now, as we make our way down the side of the car, you'll notice our new wheels. These are gonna have this nice, darker accent inside the wheels. It's gonna give it more of that sporty, aggressive look. Now the body lines making our way down the side of the car are slightly more aggressive. If you pay attention to the shoulder line, we notice now this lower line, there's a dual line, and it's gonna just taper up very elegantly. You can't really see it unless you're paying attention. But just a couple more exterior accents to give this car that sporty look that it deserves. Now, the biggest difference with this new Q7, actually there's a couple, but first we're gonna open this hood because we have a brand new engine for this car. Now, besides exterior characteristics of this Q7, there's two key differences between our 19 going into this new 2020. The first of which we're gonna look at is right under this hood. Now, what we'll find is a brand new engine for this Q7. This is our 3-liter V6 that you saw in the previous model, except this is turbocharged and not supercharged. That's gonna make a couple differences when we're driving out on the road. Now, this is the same engine that you're gonna find in our Q8, our new A7 and A6. With the turbo right in the heart of the engine, that V, you're gonna have that turbo spool up on your accelerator foot right at about 1,500 to 2,000 RPM. So you're not gonna experience the lag that you would in previous years of turbo. But more importantly, this is gonna be able to give you a much more balanced feel out on the road. With supercharged engines, we feel that notorious torque right away because that's supercharged. However, you feel a little pulled forward. Now with this turbo, we're gonna experience a more balanced feel as far as accelerating through those gears. We're gonna feel more so one with the car instead of the car pulling us forward. Another cool thing about this new engine, and really the system in general, is we find a 48-volt hybrid assist battery in this Q7, similar to that of in the A7 and the A6s. So making our way around the back end of the vehicle, we notice, just like the front, new tail lights. These are gonna have this staggered, beautiful animation on a Prestige, but nice and bright full LED nonetheless. Now, as we make our way into the lift gate, we'll notice on a Prestige model, we're gonna have the auto air suspension. So you'll notice the car is lowering, but if you were to hook up something to the trailer, because this is gonna have the trailer hitch with a 7-pin adapter, you would hit the up arrow and you're gonna wanna have that air suspension boost up the back end of the vehicle to help compromise that weight. Now, of course, a lot of these cars are gonna come with the all-season weather mats. That's something that we get with this cold weather package here in Wisconsin. It's sort of a no-brainer. But now, let's take a look at this new Gen 3 technology. Okay, so right away we noticed this is different for the Q7. Now we see what we see in the Q8 as well as the A7 and A6 with this beautiful double screen technology. This is our Gen 3. Now, along with the virtual cockpit, this allows you to have nav right in front of you and radio, media, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in your center MMI, and then we have a dedicated fan and temperature speed down below. But let's take a look at what makes this new technology really cool. All right, here we are in the cockpit. Plenty of room, exactly what you'd expect out of a big Q7. But now we have this double screen technology, and what makes this so cool is it's going to look just like your Q8, and frankly, it's going to look like your phone. It's kind of meant to look like that with your app, so you'll be able to swipe from left to right. It's very linear, but then like navigation, you click right on that, and you'll hear a haptic feedback, kind of like a button feel, and you'll hear the click. You could turn that off, so it's just like your phone, and it's silent, and you could just touch it quickly. But you'll notice on the navigation here, we have a nice big 10.3-inch LCD screen. Glass, so it's not gonna reflect as much as like a plastic with a finish over the top. It's very sharp, but it will come with a nice little microfiber cloth to give it a nice little wipe down when you're at the end of a drive to get rid of any fingerprints if there are any made. But looking at the nav, we see this pinch out function because it's all touch, and you could put 2 fingers on just like your iPhone and tilt the map from the bird's eye view to a 3D view without having to go into any kind of a setting. So what's really cool about this is if we could put in an address, and with Apple CarPlay, I would just hold down my talk button here on the right hand of the steering wheel, and I would ask Siri or tell Siri where we're gonna go. Now, without that, we have Audi Connect, which is going to give you this Wi-Fi hotspot. Now, what's so cool about this is it's going to allow you to connect your phone to have that Apple CarPlay or Android Auto simply by connecting to Bluetooth. So it's a wireless connection, and that'll go right on the screen. And if once we're implemented, it'll become one of the apps that we see on your main MMI screen. And we could just touch that, and then there we are, right into your Apple CarPlay. And there's a couple different views, and this is going to work just like that MMI. It's you swipe right, swipe left, and then there's a couple different views, one with all the apps, and then this is my favorite. It's kind of a consolidated Apple map with points of interest up in the right corner, and now playing if you have something in your iTunes. Now, if you have Spotify and you pay $10 a month for that, that's all streaming platforms nowadays. Whatever you have on your phone will reflect on here. Personally, I use Apple Music, so I have all of these different playlists here, and you could go to the Beatles, and you'll see all the artwork, and it'll be kind of a nice little music visual experience. So now, what's really cool about this new Gen 3, we have media, you go into your settings and vehicle to change your drive select. None of that has changed. But if you look up at the top, you'll have this little bar, and you could pinch that down or just slide it down with your finger, and you'll notice a couple different settings up here as well. And there's a little, person emblem. And if you click on that, you'll reveal 6 different user profiles that you have with this car. This is really cool because in past generation, we have a seat memory. So you have 2 seat memories. So really, the person can, person 1 can have their steering wheel telescoped how they'd like it with their seat position, your mirrors, and that's all saved, with those seat memories. But now we're taking it a step further, and whether you're profile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's even a guest at the bottom. Now that's not saved, but if you want to temporarily use this car, you could go and make a guest profile. Now, it's going to save everything that we talked about, as well as your EQs for sound settings, your favorites that we're going to have right down here. It's kind of an extension into your fan and temperature speed. So with this little app emblem with a down arrow pointed down, if you click on that, it just simply reveals this stretch of favorites that whether you're in a radio station or you put in a navigation, you can go into your, there'll be a little 3-dot emblem, kind of like an and or, and you could click on that and then save it as a shortcut. So that's all going to be mix and matched right down here, which can be different for each profile. So if you're profile 3, you're going to have your favorite music stations or directions, as well as the EQs that go along with that. But you're also going to have the color profile, because in this Q7, now this is available with prestige trim levels, you're going to have a really cool color option package. That's going to allow you to change the LEDs and little underlay lights down by your footwell and on the side of the armrest. You're going to be able to have 2 different color combinations and switch and customize whatever you'd like. Orange and blues, green and yellow, Packer game day. So that'll all be saved in your user profiles as well. So now we have 1 car, but it's kind of like six cars in 1 car, depending on who's driving it. So along with that, you're just going to have much more of an ownership with this car, because you'll have your profile along with your My Audi app, which you'd have in previous generations, where you'll be able to unlock and lock, set geofences and speed alerts, and service intervals as well. So really excited about this Q7. It's just so tremendous in terms of balance and acceleration with this new turbo. The technology has never been more intuitive. I could say, I need to use the restroom, and it'll direct me to whatever the closest place of business that they have an available restroom, if they have that available. Not every business does, but simple things like that. You don't really have to speak like a robot anymore for the robot to understand you, which is just an amazing convenience, and it's kind of where we're headed in the industry. So nice to see this in the new Q7.
Just want to break in and say, hopefully you're enjoying this video on the 2020 Audi Q7. If you are, be sure to hit that like button. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's really the best way that you can show your support for our channel, as well as make sure you don't miss a single video, because we're releasing new ones every single week.
So aside from exterior changes, a new engine, intuitive technology upgrades, there's a couple cool things about this Q7 in the interior, convenience-wise, for storage. I know there hasn't been a tremendous amount of storage in previous Q7s. However, now, similar to that in an A4 Q5, this nice little compartment to the side here, with this new technology, it kind of creates more room inside the dash for them to implement a nice little glove box here, that now we have a spot to put your sunglasses, a wallet briefly if you want to store that in there if you're camping, just any little personal chapstick that you want to put right there. You have a nice available spot that's just below your left hand. As well as that, now we find a nice kind of extended or more of a volumized tray in the side of the door. This is going to help with big Yeti Yeti containers for your beverages in the morning, your iced coffees, or if you have any kind of a bottled water that you purchase from a convenience store on a long trip, you're going to have a nice diagonal little cubby that tucks in nicely, and it's not going to jiggle around in there all too much. I use it all the time in my A4, and I'm so happy to see it in a nice big Q7, because it's a big vehicle and there should be some big places to put your personal things. So pleased to see that. So one of the coolest features about this new Generation 3 technology is the backup camera system. If we press this button, of course it'll go in this view when you go into reverse, but you can simply hit the parking camera button, and at first, without being in drive, it's going to show what's ahead of us, because you have a camera back there that looks about 150 feet behind you. That's going to help you with the side assist and blind spot, but as well as this camera up above your mirror that's going to recognize the lines for your lane departure. This is also helping you see when you're parking. So right now we see what's ahead of us, and you'll notice in the bottom left corner there's a little extension of a menu. We could go through these views. We could look at either the front or the back as a straight view, or a curved distorted fisheye lens that'll make the sides and peripheral vision a little more available. However, there's a couple new views that I think everyone's going to appreciate. We're used to seeing in a Prestige the nice head up, not head up, but the top 360 camera view that's going to show you exactly where you are in relation to where you're parking. This is really important when you're parallel parking, especially because you don't want to get curb rash on these wheels. But now we can make this image much larger, and that'll be one of the selections on there, as well as seeing what's right up against your front wheels, as well as what's close by your back wheels. If you just want to check out what's going on before you even move the car, you could kind of get an assessment. And worst comes to worse, you can always hit your 3D button and really see where you're at. You could spin all the way around your vehicle. Now, of course, this is a video game image that's created with the sensors and cameras around your car in coordinates with a satellite. So it might not be the same color, but if you move your steering wheel, those wheels will move. So now we have this real representation of our vehicle, and if you're parking against a curb on the other side, it's really hard to see that as a driver. So you could just twist around and really get level, and you could even pinch in and zoom and see exactly how close you are to that curb. So no more excuses for parking with this system. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in once again here at Zimbrick Audi of Madison, Wisconsin, taking a look at our beautiful 2020 redesign of the Q7. Again, my name is Ryan McCrum. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're posting videos all the time. The link will be right in the description. And if you want to take a closer look at this beauty, especially out on the road, feel free to stop by for a test drive.